All right, we're back here again with my main man Shane O'Mac. I'm Joe the Fan from Just Win Bets Baby, and today we're going to be talking about the NFC West schedule, and we'll show you their team totals, what they're predicting is dirty, a preseason prediction for the sports book. But before we even get to that, it is of course Game 7. Shano, what's going on? It is the Panthers and Maple Leafs. An update, please.
Panthers at Maple Leafs. Currently, it's almost the end of the first period. Still, these are one of your soccer terms there, 0-0. Panthers have looked pretty dominant so far, though. They've had a lot of offensive zone time. I think they're leading in that category. They're also leading on shots and goal and shots attempt right now.
Right.
We did not pick a winner for this one. After last game, Game 6, I chose the Panthers. I thought they were going to close it out last game. They did not. Mathematically, I had the Panthers, but Game 7s, they're weird sometimes. You never know what's going to happen. So, but we did take the under, which was at the 5, and that looks pretty strong right now. Hopefully, it keeps up that way. Historically, Game 7s tend to go under. Both teams usually step up their defensive play because it's such a high-stakes game. So, we're looking for the under to hit tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked like the Florida Panthers came out swinging and just like living in the Toronto Maple Leafs zone there, but we'll see what happens. It looks like it's coming to the end of the first period. So let's get this NFC West schedules out of the way. We'll go, of course, to start off with the the Los Angeles Rams. And here we go. The Los Angeles Rams, of course, they've got 3 preseason games. They've got the Dallas Cowboys, the Chargers, and the Browns to start it off. And then they have their bye week is in week 8. But before we even do that, the guys at the studio have been working very hard. They've added something you folks can see on the bottom right corner. This is, of course, a betting advising show. So we have to talk about that, Shano. Right there it says preseason win total. That is, of course, before the season even starts. It is at 9.5. The over is at minus 140. The under is at plus 120 on the under. So that is 9.5. Keep that in mind while we go through the schedule. Here we go. We have the first home game, which will be a nationally televised game on CBS, taking on the Houston Texans. Then 2 away games at the Tennessee Titans, and then at the Philadelphia Eagles at 1 o'clock, only on Fox. Then 2 home games. It'll be home against the Indianapolis Colts, and it'll be at 4 p.m. And then a Thursday night, so it's a very short rest for the for the LA Rams, as they take on the San Francisco 49ers. Then 2 games right before the bye week. They have 2 away games that are at the Baltimore Ravens, and of course they have to travel overseas to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. So a total of 7 games before the bye. And keep in mind, Shano, it is, of course, the total of 9.5 right now. And if you want, folks, you can always bet if you feel that they're going to go less than that, you can get a better price. If you go over that, of course, you're going to get a lesser price. So your thoughts right there so far with those 7 games, Shano?
So they're playing 4 of their games are against the AFC South. I noticed that right away.
One of them's against Philadelphia.
Right.
So 3 out of 4 is the South. Yes.
Yeah, but then they also have their away games are like true away games. They're all East Coast-ish teams. I know Tennessee's technically not East Coast, but it's closer to the East Coast than there. But they're going there, and then at Philly, and then at Baltimore. They're going cross country, and then they're going really far to go over to London for week 7. If I had to guess, they're probably going to leave straight from Baltimore there,
right?
Instead of heading back home.
Right.
So that's a lot of travel for them. And then after all that travel, that bye week comes into play perfectly for them right there. We talked about that with some of the other teams that screwed with no bye week coming back from London. At least they get that after like those long travel dates as well through the first 7 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised. They did that to another team that we talked about last time. But at least, like you said, they are coming from overseas back home, so that's always a good thing. All right, to finish it out, we've got kind of a little bit of a seesaw here. We have home against the New Orleans Saints, at the San Francisco 49ers, and that'll again be a primetime game, or excuse me, nationally televised game, home against the Seattle Seahawks. Then a Sunday night game, home against as the Rams host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then they go 2 away games. That'll be at Carolina and at the Arizona Cardinals. Home on a nationally televised game again, 4:25 on Fox against the Detroit Lions. So mark your calendars there on December 14th. And then the last 3 games, 2 away games before the TBD at home against Arizona. So it's at Seattle, and that'll be on a Thursday night game, and then a Monday night game. So it's a little bit of rest for them. So it'll be at the Atlanta Falcons on the 29th, and then they stay home against the Cardinals. So that could be just a regular Sunday game. Who knows? Again, it's to be determined. Again, the total here is 9.5. Shano, what's your final prediction for this LA Rams?
I think they
over under.
I'm taking the over on 9.5 for them for this year. I see them with this schedule probably at 11-6. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I see a 10.5 out there at plus money, plus 115. And again, better to make sure you check your local books so you can see and you can get the best number there. So for me, I'm looking at maybe 10-7 or 11-6. I agree with you. I think Jacksonville and Tennessee automatically wins right there. Hate to be honest about that, but it's the truth. I think they split Seattle. And same thing with San Francisco. But I think they take care of the Colts. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the thing about the San Francisco, as you said, is historically Sean McVay does not do well against Shanahan. So hopefully he can break that little curse he has against him. McVay, is like a disciple of the Shanahans. So the Shanahans have taught him all that he needs that he's learned, right? So will the teacher outrank the master finally?
There you go. There you go. We shall see, and that's why they play the game. We'll move on to, of course, the Seattle Seahawks. And here we are. We got that up. The total there is, this is a little shocking here, Shano. It's 7.5 for the Seattle Seahawks. Over is minus 135. The under at plus 115. So it's pretty interesting there. Again, you can adjust those numbers depending on what book you're using. FanDuel, DraftKings, BetRivers, just to name a few. But let's go down, of course, the schedule for the Seattle Seahawks. 3 preseason games. They have, of course, pretty much the AFC West here. It is the Vegas Raiders. They have, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. And, of course, they have the Green Bay Packers who play, of course, in the NFC North. So they, too, have a Week 8 bye. So we'll talk about the first 7 games here. They start off with home against the San Francisco 49ers at 4 o'clock. They travel to Pittsburgh at 1 o'clock. Home against the New Orleans Saints on a Thursday night at the Arizona Cardinals. Again, on a Thursday night, that's September 25th. Home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, that is going to be on October the 2nd. And let's see here. On October 12th, they go to Jacksonville. And then on a Monday night here, it is against the Texans at 8:20 there. So, again, with those, what's your prediction?
So some games I see them winning right off the bat. Saints, Jaguars, I would say are wins. Cardinals, I think they can win, but I think the Cardinals are going to be a little better this year than they have been the last couple of years.
Yep.
Steelers, it depends on who the quarterback is, but there's also kind of a wrench in that game. DK Metcalf is a Steeler now, right? So does he want to ball out and show up, right? So, but it also depends on who's going to throw him the ball. So,
right.
But yeah, those are the games that stick out to me right away. It's a pretty tough schedule outside of that. They got Buccaneers that are tough. Texans are a tough squad to beat. But I think they get definitely 3, maybe 4. But I'm more like saying 3 and 4 in the first 7.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. 3 and 4 for that right before the bye. Let's continue after the bye. We've got the rest of the schedule for the Seattle Seahawks. We have at Washington, and that's going to be on a Sunday night. It looks like the time there is a little messed up there, but we'll have to have the guys fix that for you. Sorry about that. Week 10, November 9th, is home against the Cardinals at, of course, the LA Rams, at the Tennessee Titans, home against the Minnesota Vikings, at the Atlanta Falcons, home against the Indianapolis Colts. Then they have a Thursday night game there, Shano, home against the LA Rams on a Thursday night on December 18th. And then 2 TBDs, both away, and it's at Carolina and at San Francisco. So what is your final total for this Seattle Seahawks?
I like the over as well. It was at 7.5, correct? So I would say,
Correct.
I think they're right at 8 wins, 8 and 9.
Yes.
We'll see how they have Sam Darnold as quarterback now. He left Minnesota. So I think that the Vikings are a tough team, but like we don't know about their quarterback situation with J.J. McCarthy, how well he's going to be playing throughout the whole season. But I think that'll be a nice revenge game for him that he wants to show up for. The Titans, I could see them. They're beating in that second half. But they also got some tough teams against them too. So like the Washington, but then you ending your season with the Panthers at the end. I'm saying 8 and 9 for them this season.
Yeah, they ended with the Panthers and then, of course, the San Francisco 49ers. So usually they split those, but I have to agree with you. And we'll see if it's the system for Sam Darnold. You know, he was pretty good in Minnesota, but let's see what he does over with his new team and see. Hopefully he's successful. But that's why they play the game. All right, let's move on to our next one, which is, of course, the Arizona Cardinals. And here it is. They've got, let's see here, the total here on the bottom right corner, you guys can see that is 8.5. So right there off the bat, they have it at 8.5. It is a plus or minus 110. So that's for over and under, both at minus 110 there. So the preseason, again, they're definitely playing the AFC West in the preseason. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos, and the Las Vegas Raiders. So again, just like the Seattle Seahawks and the LA Rams, they have their bye at week 8. So let's go through the first 7 games. At the New Orleans Saints, home against the Carolina Panthers, at the San Francisco 49ers. That's going to be a nationally televised game there. And then they have a Thursday night game. The Arizona Cardinals will host the Seattle Seahawks, which we just talked about. Then they stay home for the for the Tennessee Titans, at the Indianapolis Colts, and then home again another national televised game right before the bye against the Green Bay Packers. So again, Chano, it is the total of 8.5. What's your thought for their first 7 games?
I think that a huge benefit for them is week 1 going against the Saints, which is probably going to be a rookie quarterback starting for him over Spencer all last year when he had to play. So that's like a nice that like reminds me of like Alabama playing like Western Mississippi State Central Tech, like in week 1 back when NCAA used to do that a lot more.
For their week 0, yes.
Yeah, so I think that's like a good landing spot for them for week 1. I think it's actually a pretty favorable schedule overall for the first 7 games. I think the toughest team they have on there is the Packers in week 7.
Yeah, absolutely. That reminds me of that football movie with Adam Sandler, where he's in prison. It was a remake of the Burt
Reynolds. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the name of that movie?
Longest Yard.
Unnecessary Roughness? Oh, the Longest Yard. That's
Longest Yard. Yep.
The Longest Yard. Yeah.
I love Cheeseburger Eddie for that movie. Excellent. He was at like the McDonald's McDoubles, and he's like dancing all in the background.
And then they're like, hey, we need a tune-up game. So this is their tune-up game for the Arizona Cardinals with the New Orleans Saints there. All right, finishing up after the bye week, we've got 2 away games, one of them being on Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys on November the 3rd. Then away at the Seattle Seahawks, home against the San Francisco 49ers, and then you have home against the Jacksonville Jaguars, at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, home against the LA Rams. That's going to be a nationally televised game there. And then we've got an away at the Texans, home against the Atlanta Falcons, and then 2 away games to finish up their season at the Cincinnati Bengals on December 28th. That time is to be determined, as well as the date and time for their last game, which is against the LA Rams. So, looking at this here, Shano, you know, I'll go first. I see 8-9. I think the under hits here.
I think 8 and 9 as well. Like I said, it all depends on how they do that first 6 or so weeks of the schedule. That's a pretty favorable schedule, and then when they get the Packers, that's when things start picking up a little bit more. Because you're getting the Cowboys at Dallas, Seattle at Seattle. That's always tougher to play there. And it's a division game at Tampa. They're going cross country. So I think it all depends on what they do those first couple of weeks when they're having a little bit softer schedule against the Saints and Panthers. If they can stack some early wins when they have them, Saints, Panthers, Titans, Colts, if they can get some of those wins under them, they might go over. But I would have to tend to lean the under here as well.
Yeah, it's a good price. Courtesy of DraftKings, it's a good price there. Over and under, both at -110. We finished the NFC West team schedule with, of course, the San Francisco 49ers. Here we are. And with that, I'm going to just tell you their preseason prediction right now is at 10.5. You can see that right there, folks, on the bottom right corner. It's 10.5. The over is at -135. The under is at -115. They, too, also play the AFC West in the preseason. They have the Denver Broncos, the Las Vegas Raiders, and, of course, the Chargers as well to wrap that up in the preseason. And then their bye week, though, is late. So the San Francisco 49ers don't get a bye week until week 14 there, Shano. So it's going to be a long stretch for them, which can, it's not really looking that great. But let's begin. It is, of course, at the Seattle Seahawks, at the New Orleans Saints, home against the Cardinals. That'll be a nationally televised game on September 21st in week 3. Then they host the Jaguars on the 28th. Then it's Thursday night football against the LA Rams, and I'll be at LA. At the Bucks, home against the Atlanta Falcons. That'll be a Sunday night game, so it's 2 already primetime games. Then you have the last 6 games right before the bye. We've got at the Houston Texans, at the New York Giants, home against the LA Rams, at the Arizona Cardinals, home against the Panthers, again at the Cleveland Browns, and then there comes the bye week. So lots happening there.
Yeah, that's the late bye, like you said. That's 13 games in a row is always tough as an NFL franchise, especially when you have some players that are known for getting a little banged up, like Christian McCaffrey and stuff like that, right? Yeah. So the load management for him might be necessary for those first 13 games. The other thing I noticed when I was talking about with the Niners too is, like, historically under Shanahan, I always feel like they start off slow and then pick up near the end of the year. Yeah, I don't know why, but it always feels like that way. And then, but with that late bye, that doesn't really help them there to, like, have that mid-season adjustments that he usually makes and corrects, and then they're back to being NFC West champion or championship contenders again.
Brock Purdy, as you folks may know, just signed that long extension of it was a lot of money, 5 years. I don't remember the amount.
$265 million, I think it was.
Wow.
I think it's 5 years, $265 million.
Not bad at all.
Not bad for Mr. Irrelevant, right?
No, not bad at all.
He went from being the last pick in the draft to
$265 million, over $250,000 there.
Yeah.
I think they lose week 1. I think they go 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, maybe 3-2. So my total here, I think they end up 10-7. They just miss it by the kicker with the 10.5. So the under looks pretty nice at -115.
That's exactly where I have them at. I have them at 10-7. I told you I have the Rams at 11-6. I think the Rams win the NFC West, and it's going to be between them and the Niners coming down to it at the end. But this division's always one of the closest in sports, right?
Sure.
Like all four of them are usually pretty close. Cardinals every once in a while have those bad years. And see if Kyler can step it up, and they're definitely going to be better defensively. Arizona will be, but I think it's going to come down to the Rams and Niners, and I think the Rams will come out on top.
Well, it also depends on the, they were a little bit of injury prone last year with the San Francisco 49ers. And, of course, they lose Deebo Samuel to us, meaning the Washington Skins there. But also Christian McCaffrey, we'll see if he is back to himself.
Yeah, agreed 100%. And they had some injuries on defense, too, that really hurt them as well last year. And then that's what we were talking about with that late bye. That can come back to bite them as well. And, hurt them in the long run.
So tell us what you guys think once you see this, and put your prediction in the comments. Of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and follow us, and hit that little bell for a notification. We're starting to push out not only these videos, but these shorts for you guys. We've been getting a lot of emails and some feedback over our social media pages. You can follow us on X, on Instagram, and of course on TikTok. And we'll make sure that we get those out there to you as soon as possible. So until next time, I of course am Joe the Fan from Jets Win Bets Baby with Shane Mack. Before we go there, Shane, any update on the hockey game?
It's first intermission right now. First period just ended. While we were filming this video, still 0-0. So we'll see. We'll see what comes under. We're hoping for the under tonight. Remember, that was our play for the night. So 0-0 is good. Keep it 0-0.
Exactly. How is the props looking for us?
Nylander for the Leafs. Last I saw before this video, he had one shot on goal, but that was like halfway through the first period.
Yeah. He almost scored on that.
He did almost score. That was a great save by Bobrovsky. He stopped that. He still just has that one. But let's see. The other prop bet was Bennett. Bennett has one shot on goal as well right now. So as long as I get one shot on each period, we're good. We're golden, because the shot on goal was 2.5. So we set the over on it. So we just need one from each period from here on out for them. And then the other prop bet was Joseph Wool, the goalie for the Leafs, to go under on his saves. And he's currently has 9. We need that to stay under 26.5. So we need 26 or lower. So if you do 9 times 3, that's 27. So we need one of those to go in.
Yep.
And hopefully Panthers win 1-0 and the under hits and everything else hits, and we're golden.
Yeah, we're golden. Just like this morning in EPL, real quick before we sign off. Jamie Vardy hits and he scored. I recommended that score anytime. I did have him at 2 goals that played 8-1, but he was pulled out in the 70th minute of the match. And of course, I had Gerald Bowen from West Ham, who scored as well. So of course, I had Leicester win to 0. So that hit as well. The Arsenal, I had, of course, a tie no bet, but I also thought that but I did have what I was very strong on was under 2 3/4 goals. That definitely hit because it was 1-0 to Arsenal, and we hit on our futures there, Shano, where I had Arsenal either being the champion. As you know, Liverpool are currently the champions. They won it a few weeks ago, so Arsenal, of course, end up in second place, but we get a little bit of cash for that future. So, all right,
all good news. All good news.
All good news. And the WNBA, of course, hit. The Queen of Baskets, of course, had a nice winner, a -3.5 with the Mystics as they go 2-0. But I know for a fact she's going to get some more prop bets and some winners out to us in the near future. So check our Twitter page and Instagram for that.
WNBA's been ranking in money so far.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Keep it up.
Keep it up. And, of course, we'll get the draw for the French Open. So we'll introduce, of course, our new handicapper, PJ, who will be handling all the tennis majors. So a lot's happening here in the sports world as well as what's going on at JWBB. All right, guys, so we're going to sign off, and until next time, again, let's try to cash those tickets, and we'll see you next time.